I might make some people mad with this video, but I have some, not groundbreaking thoughts, but I have some in-depth analysis between the difference between man and woman and why. This is just my I'm 100% wrong on the interpretation of Adam and Eve, but I have some very high level analysis I just want to get out there that I've been thinking about. And I think something good here, and I hope somebody, I hope I don't make men too mad. I actually feel like it is supposed to be this way. It's solidified. So I'm really thinking about like the difference between man and woman, right? And knowledge, right? What can a woman know, right? Now, we already have science, right? Our science has said, oh yeah, women, they're not good at STEM, right? They're not good at math and sciences. They're more emotional based. They're not good speakers, right? But that's like religious based, right? Doesn't the Bible also say that women shouldn't be leaders, shouldn't be talkers? And I'm gonna explain why it all is like that. Because men are the blank slates. Men are the blank slates. Now, in my interpretation of Adam giving his rib to make Eve, that's to validate himself. Hear me out. Because women are already born with it. They're already born with everything. I would argue that men are otherworldly and women are worldly. Now, hear me out. Because women already are so much more. Women are naturally intuitive, spiritual, right? They have like that sixth sense. It's like the seventh sense, right? So they already have the seventh sense, right? So here we out. They already got the seventh sense. Men don't have that. But what do men do? They validate themselves by going on. That's why men, it's a tale as old as time. We have to go on quests. We have to go on missions. We have to find truth. We have to find knowledge. Why? Why do we have to do that? Why don't women do that? Really think about, why don't women do that? Women already have a sense of everything. They already know what's going on in the world. They already feel a part of the earth. We don't. We have to go look for it. We have to be like, the truth or this quest or this mission or this healing journey will give me the knowledge, and we'll never get it. And then we always get to a point where men have to just sit and be like, okay, maybe I'm not supposed to. And then we tell everybody else. Maybe you don't. When they finally, years and years of not searching and finding it, they go, maybe, knowledge is subjective and you'll never find it. And all in hopes because we're looking at the other, right? It's just like the settler and the native, right? In any as soon as the settler and the native, this is what I mean. When the settler and the native first meet, they're just living life. Everybody's living life. I'm living life. You're living life. It's not until you come in contact with another that then you become alive, right? It's not until then your experiences are validated, right? You didn't care about, okay, prime example, the natives are like, okay, let's just say hypothetically the settlers, let's say they didn't take their pride seriously. But then when there's an opposition in front of them, like the natives, and then the natives are like, nah, the new gen, they're like, we don't really care about what our parents said. But then they get in front of the settlers and they go, I need to hold on to what we're doing here because we have this opposition. They're validating me. You get what I'm saying? The natives see the settlers and they go, they validating me. I have to kill them because of what I stand for. They might have not stood for anything before, but now in front of them. But now same thing. Now take that into consideration with man and woman. Man doesn't have anything. We don't have anything. And then we look at the other. he gets validated through the woman, and he goes, the woman has so much. She can give birth. She can bleed and not die. She's just naturally in tune with her world. And then I'm just here. And this is not projecting. This is not projecting. This is actually, this is forever. Men of, you could say I'm projecting, but I'm not, because we wouldn't have 1,001 stories about men trying to go find themselves. It's the whole story about coming of age. It's a tale as old as time. You can't even argue with me here. Put your defenses down, lower your shoulders. It's just the truth. So when men back in the day, see, I'm talking about like religiously, we have to devalue women. We got to be like, nah, they and then stories will start to make sense. What can she know, right? What knowledge can she actually know? So then women, so let's just say we prohibit women from going to school. We prohibit women from doing X things, right? That's what we do, right? We prohibited women from doing anything, so that when she's, let's just say she's in the house, she's doing her, whatever, she has to maximize her abilities elsewhere, right? So then she maximizes her creativity, right? So then, studies are like, oh, women are more creative, right? So she maximizes her creativity, right? To the point where it's another, in a sense, it's otherworldly. Like, damn, women are so creative. Well, maybe that's just because their brains are wired that way. So, and then we demean the creativity. We say that it's not knowledge, right? That's how the game works. So we push them to only maximize their creativity, and then we demean the creativity and saying, well, men can't do that. Men aren't creative, right? That's just how we keep demeaning them, and then they maximize it, and then men try to do it too. Then they gatekeep it. Then they go, okay, well, women are too good at it. Think about how this works. Keep going with me. Then they open the doors. They go, oh, well, women can go to school. That's why I say you can't pay attention to stats and all these science stuff, right? So then they say women can go to school. Women go to school and they're not doing well. And they're like, well, see, we knew you guys weren't good at math. So we kept them out of an area where they couldn't be for, let's just say, just like black people, right? They couldn't go to school. So it's just the same thing, right? We keep them out of an area they can't go to for decades, generations. Then they finally get allowed and they're not doing well. And then when they use the same studies against them, like, well, we knew you guys. See how it works? So then you get to the point where it's almost like, and then men get to the point where they have to find themselves dominating in all these other fields, right? Now it's like punk to cook, right? It's like men are doing X things, arts. It has to be like more overt manly because it's a woman's thing, right? And then we got to dominate it. So we got to be more masculine about it, right? Just wanted to give you guys some thoughts on that. Really take a look. And that's why I always said, I remember I made that video, You Hate Women, Why? Well, this is like an updated version. Really think about it. Then you think about the individualism in men. Think about why the individualism in men even exists. Really think about what I'm saying here. I know I might be like, nah, he hate men. Nah, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the way it should be, a lot of animals and things are matriarchal, and that's because it makes sense. If something is already born worldly and with everything of the universe in them, and we're separate from that, shouldn't you follow, in that, follow behind that? I feel like there's nothing wrong. There's a reason why we're more supposed to be the protectors in a sense. It's the men that go against the grain, and over time men want to be women because everything's out of hate. You have to demean them because you hate them, because you're like, damn, I want to be that, right? I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to say. Just give me a second here. Sometimes you got to pause in videos, It's just funny though, it's all set up for, in a sense, women to fail in a sense. But, okay, last point though. Another proof of men are blank slates, right? I think the reason, to go back to the Adam and Eve, and this is my last point, to go back to the Adam and Eve and the reason why men are blank slates, when I watch a movie, think about this. the male lead has never, throughout time, has never had to be this. Don't get me wrong, there's been a lot of, handsome men, but they don't have to be. You know why? Because the men, put any man in there, they're just like, yep, it's a man. Even women can watch it and be like, that's what a man does, right? Because we're blank slates. You can put us in any role, it doesn't matter. But his counterpart is always a gorgeous woman, always has defined features. You have to define the woman. So how does the Bible start? By defining the woman. Adam gave her rib, gave him her rib. We have to define her by features, because what does that ultimately do? Demean her, because think about it. You got to think about it, like when we think of great philosophers or great conquerors, or you don't ever go, well, what did he look like? But when you think of a woman, you go, even women do this, because this is how far it's infiltrated. Well, what does she look like? How tall was she? What was her hair color? Is she overweight? What's her weight? You see what I'm saying? See how far it stems? All those things have to be in line to validate if what she's saying is worthy of being accepted. Listen, I'm just a messenger. Let me know if you guys like this video.